Okay.
Hey, welcome to the Town Board Workshop meeting Thursday, March 4th at 7 p.m. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Doyle. Any word? Okay, she'll be noted as absent this meeting. Council members Gutierrez,
Here.
Morris,
Here.
and Samoji.
Here.
Okay. Supervisors report.
Oops.
Lavelle Road Pump House and Generator Upgrade. Town of Amenia engineer John Andrews is planning to submit the cost estimate for repairs this week. Altice franchise agreement negotiations are still in progress. DEC/EFC wastewater planning grant response expected in April 2021. New York State employer mandatory emergency plan. The Highway Department Collective Bargaining Unit responded with a recommendation which is being incorporated into the draft plan by the consultant. The American Rescue Package. Supervisor Perotti attended Congressman Delgado's virtual roundtable on state and local COVID funding on Wednesday, March 3rd, regarding this legislation currently in Congress. After the legislation is approved by Congress, $65.1 billion is projected to go to counties from the Department of the Treasury based on the state's population. Counties will be required to submit a certificate of need. $65.1 billion will go to towns, cities, and villages, with 45.7% going to towns and cities with populations over 50,000 based on the state's population, and 19.53% going to towns and villages with populations fewer than 50,000 based on the state's population. Cities, towns, and villages will not have to submit a certificate of need. The funds for cities, towns, and villages will be sent to the states, which can hold the funds for 30 to 120 days, but are not allowed to add additional charges or requirements. More information will be sent regarding what the funds can be used for. Town of Amenia COVID-19. The Amenia Town Hall will remain closed, but will be available to departments by appointment. Department extensions are posted on the front door. There's also a doorbell to the left of the main door. Each department is also available by phone, mail, email, and secure lockbox on the building to the left of the front door. Town board and other meetings will be held by Zoom. Public comments for town board meetings can be made by email or mail, sent to the town clerk, who will read them at the meeting. Public hearings will be set up by video and telephonic conferencing, advertised with information about how to attend. Court administration has ordered that court in-person appearances can resume. The town hall will be open to modified recreation activities with all COVID-19 protocols in place. In addition, the Recreation Commission and other committees will be able to meet in person as long as COVID-19 protocols are followed. Please continue to wear face coverings, be mindful of social distancing. Also remember to not touch your face, wash your hands off, and use hand sanitizer. Be well and stay safe. Town clerk report.
Good evening. I share with everyone this evening that the February monthly report is as follows: that the total state, county, and local revenues were $377.50, with the local share being remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $361.50. For tax collection, we have now concluded our penalty-free tax collection period. During that time period, a total collected was $5,030,131.36. With Tuesday beginning our penalty collection, thus far I've collected an additional $404.61 under penalties, with total remaining uncollected at this time as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, $1,040,980.85. The town has been paid in full, all shares. I share with the board an acknowledged receipt as of March 2nd, Lorenzo's resignation from the Amenia Housing Board. Vicki Doyle is kind enough to forward this to us, that an email that he'd like to stay involved with the housing board. He just cannot at this time. I see that you're all moving forward and along with getting out the mailers. I hope all goes well. He's going to have to step down from the committee so that someone else can volunteer, and he wished the committee good luck. So
I'll make a motion that we accept Lorenzo's resignation with regret.
Second.
Council Supervisor Prody,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
yes,
Emoji.
yes,
Also, I circulated earlier this week, spring is right around the corner, as much as we may not feel it with the temperatures being as brisk as they are. But I did circulate the 2020 lawn mowing bid, and I'm seeking authorization to go ahead and advertise for our annual lawn mowing. If that's what the town wishes to do, is hire
I
outside.
make a motion to authorize the town clerk to advertise for lawn mowing bid specifications.
I second it.
Supervisor Prody,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
yes,
Emoji.
Yes,
As we all know, that summer is right around the corner, and we have a lot of folks that use Beekman Park. This year, we did have someone that has already expressed an interest in coming to Beekman Park and fulfilling the open spot that we've had the last couple of years for a concession stand. So with that being said, also I circulated prior to the meeting our concession stand packets that we've used historically, it was 14, 15, and 16. So we can kind of get an idea if that's how we wish to move forward. If the board is looking to move forward with having someone fill that open spot at the concession stand, I would seek authorization to go ahead and advertise that RFP.
I
Don't
would
we
like
have
to,
excuse me, don't we
I'm
have
sorry.
somebody who wants to do it?
We do, we do. We have an individual who is right here. He is Board of Health approved. He does have a food truck who expressed his interest last year, but unfortunately we weren't able to open up, and he is looking to fill that spot. So if that's where the board would like to go, we can do that as well.
So we just need to have him follow the specifications as far as insurance and Board of Health approval.
I know he has
Everything.
insurance. We had the verbal conversation of him having the necessary insurances. I know he has the Board of Health certificate. He was looking to utilize the concession stand. He's going to be offering, for right now, hamburgers, hot dogs, candy bars, chips, drinks, and a few other items that he, has. His family does have a business as well in the area. So I think as they start to grow, well, not the business, but as he starts to grow and successfully sees what the needs are, he'll be able to provide cold and hot foods for all of our sport players and their families. So if the board would like to go ahead and authorize him to do that. So everybody knows his name is Jerry Heisner. Many of us know of him as the bus manager up at Weebatuck. His family owns Talk of the Town here in Millerton. He is a local resident. He knows all of the students as it is, being that he's here and transports them. And, he knows all the families. He wanted to come in last year, but unfortunately we closed and we didn't get to go to this next step of actually offering it.
Okay, do we know the dates the concession stand will be open from when?
So
to
what
when?
I'm doing for lawn mowing, I was doing April 1st through November 6th. So that way it was just the full season. at least that way he can, then he'd be able to get in there when the weather does really break, and then he can clean up and organize. I thought that would give him enough time to get set. I know that with sports coming, baseball season will probably be just starting to pick up there because they're doing abbreviated seasons.
Right.
So that should be able to get him there in time for when we would talk.
Yeah, excuse me, I saw it, dates are listed on the pages for
Mhm.
April 8th through August 31st.
Those were the old dates. So
Those were
that
okay.
was whatever 2020. So now we need to think about 2021. So
Okay.
for the legal ad that I'll be doing for lawn mowing, it's going to be through April 1st through November 6th. Historically, when soccer uses the ball fields, they go through the first Saturday in November. So we want to make sure that it's the full, everything's maintenance and cared of through their last award games and finishing. So I want to make sure.
I don't see the point of doing an RFP if we have somebody ready, willing, and able to take over the concession stand. I think we would just have to require that, we get a contract from them, and also, whatever insurance, Board of Health approvals.
Victoria, I think you may want to get at least another quote from somebody on that.
The problem is, Ian, nobody wants to do it. We haven't had anybody in there in 2 years, maybe 3.
So if you put the notice out, you're in compliance with any of the procurement policy provisions, and if no one bids, and he's the only one who puts it in, then.
Yeah, but this is services. Under procurement, we don't need to do that. It's services.
I think it's professional services, professional, and meaning engineering. I think having it an opportunity for the rest of the, for other people to bid on it is the right thing to do. This is a service that there might be people out there. Some years we have it, and some years we don't have people bidding on it. And I know we haven't had it for a while, but I don't see the downside other than the cost of putting an ad in the paper.
Okay, do you want to make a motion that we do that then?
I make a motion that we authorize the advertisement of the RFP for concession stand operator for the 2021 season.
Okay, I'll second that.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Kamaji?
Yes.
Also in your packets this evening, you're receiving the monthly report from the building department for February, totaling building permits. They have issued 16 building permits totaling $20,509. They're continuing with certificate of occupancy searches. For the month, they completed 14 searches, which totaled $1,750. In addition, there is a vacant property registration in the amount of $250, bringing the monthly total for the building department to $22,509. And if there are any zoning reports, we will receive them separately. And I'd like to just begin a couple of the activity reports by thanking everyone that came to our annual blood drive. It was a huge success. We had 43 folks come out to donate blood this year. So on behalf of all of us that organize it, the Support of the Amenia Fire Company, and of course the Klingner family, we thank everyone who supported us in our annual blood drive. Friendly reminder that the Westlake Fire Company is having their corned beef and cabbage dinner. It is going to be held Saturday, March 27th. If anyone is looking for tickets, please feel free to call Sue at 406-8462. As March begins to come to a closure, we're going to beginning Saturday, April 3rd at 10 a.m. sharp. Easter Bunny will be making an appearance over at Beekman Park. And as April continues to have some busy warm weather, I'm hoping the Amenia Fire Company is going to be having their chicken barbecue again. So that's going to be Saturday, April 10th. So there are a lot of activities going on in the community. So as always, I like to remind everybody to support their local fire departments when they have these great activities going on And that'll conclude the town clerk's report this evening. Thank you. And Victoria, we're starting with resolution number 18 this evening.
Sorry, I have one quick question. Don Marie, the lawn mowing contract, it doesn't specify anything related to the trail to the train in Wassaic.
Okay, so you guys are authorizing me to go ahead and put that legal notice in. Those bid specs were circulated so that way it would allow the board the opportunity to have that conversation. If you're looking to make any changes to the bid specs, as long as I have them before next Thursday, before it reaches the paper, this gives the board right now the opportunity to have that conversation. So if you want to make changes.
Actually, the highway department has been doing that.
Oh, so that was going to be my question. So we're obligated to maintain that, but I didn't know who was doing that. So
The highway department will cut the grass and keep the weeds down. They did it last year after the trail was done.
okay.
Good. So Victoria, you're starting with resolution 18 this evening.
Resolution number 18, authorizing the renewal of the dog control housing agreement with Pine Plains Veterinary Associates PC, whereas the town of Amenia is required by town code in Article 7 of the Agricultural Markets Law of the State of New York to perform certain services with respect to dog control, whereas the town of Amenia Animal Control Officer is empowered to seize dogs pursuant to the provisions of Agricultural Markets Law, Article 7, Section 117, whereas pursuant to Agriculture and Markets Law, Article 7, Section 117, dogs seized by the ACO are required to be properly fed and watered during the applicable redemption period, whereas the Pine Plains Veterinary Associates PC maintains a kennel for boarding of dogs at its office located at 2826 Church Street, Pine Plains, New York, 12567. Whereas the town board by resolution number 100 of 2019 previously authorized a contract with Pine Plains Veterinary Associates PC to provide shelter for dogs seized by the ACO through December 31st, 2020. Whereas the town board now wishes to renew its agreement with Pine Plains Veterinary Associates PC to shelter, water, feed, and provide necessary veterinary services for dogs seized by the ACO. Whereas Pine Plains Veterinary Associates PC has presented an agreement to the town, a copy of which is affixed hereto, whereas the town determines that it is in the best interest of the town to enter into said agreement as above described. Now therefore be it resolved as follows: one, the recitations above set forth are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. Two, that the town board hereby approves the agreement for dog control housing in the form annexed hereto and authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute the agreement by and on behalf of the town of Amenia, that the town supervisor, upon consultation with the attorney to the town, is authorized to negotiate or clarify any wording, provided the overall expense and liability of the town is consistent with the provisions contained in the agreement. For that the town supervisor is hereby directed to provide a copy of the agreement signed by all parties to the town clerk, who shall maintain the same in her files. Is there a motion?
Make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
yes,
Moji.
Yes.
Resolution number 19. Resolution adopting the 2021 Town of Amenia Emergency Operation Plan. Whereas pursuant to New York State Executive Law, Article 2B, the Town of Amenia is authorized to prepare a disaster plan to effectively handle potential disaster situations. And whereas the purpose of a disaster plan is to minimize the effects of any disaster or potential disaster, and to provide for effective local responses when disasters occur and facilitate local recovery. And whereas the town board of the town of Amenia desires to adopt the emergency operation plan in substantially the same form as annexed here to, which has been revised to reflect recent personnel changes, updated contact information and addresses, and minor edits to the water system information, specifically the gallons per minute for well 5 and the average daily water use amount. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, the recitation set forth or incorporating this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, the town board, the town of Amenia hereby adopts the revised emergency operation plan in substantially the same form as annexed here to. The town board hereby authorizes, directs the supervisor and the town clerk to circulate the emergency operations plan to the Dutchess County Emergency Management also to all departments and individuals designated within the plan. I make that motion.
I second it.
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Sorry. Yes.
Done. There he is.
yes, no,
Yes.
thank you. Morris,
Yes.
Emoji.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, resolution number 20 of 21. Resolution accepting Bridging Divides grant from Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation for $2,500 for a Wasatch boarding school project. Whereas the town of Amenia resident applied for and obtained a grant from the Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation, the amount of $2,500 from a Bridging Divide program for the Wasatch boarding school project. Whereas a resident intended to assist the town by obtaining a grant for a needed community service, however, may not have realized the need to gain town board authorization first before seeking the grant under the town's name. Whereas in order to accept the grant, the town board will need the applicant to prepare a project report to the Berkshire Community Foundation and the town board by March 31st, 2021. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporating this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. 2, that the town board does hereby accept this grant award on the condition that the applicant prepare and submit a project report to the Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation and town board on or before March 31st, 2021. The town board is hereby authorized to spend the funds in accordance with the grant award.
I'll make the motion.
Second, and if we can have discussion.
Okay.
Just wanted to be clear who would be overseeing the process by which he advertises and puts into place the skateboarding lesson program, and make sure that he understands how to submit vouchers and that they are, the whole thing should be overseen, I would think, by the Recreation Commission, but I just want to make that clear as we're signing our.
I've already sent him an email and explained that whatever lessons he gives or whatever he does, that vouchers have to be submitted, and we need an itemized list of exactly what he's doing and who he's doing with. I also told him that if he needed materials for a ramp or whatever, to go through Sean Howard, who oversees the recreation account at Page.
Yeah.
To get his materials through there.
Okay. I would also, if you could relay to him that when he submits a final report to Berkshire Taconic, he should also make sure that we get the final report and understand,
Yeah, that's part of the resolution, and I'm going to send it to him. So he knows exactly what he's expected to do.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Emoji.
Yes.
Okay, under other matters, I have a transfer of funds for March. Whereas the town board has the resolution number 21. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 19894.01.057, other general government support contractual by $2,000, decreasing expense line 19004.01.057, special item CE grant administration by $2,000 for account reclassification by the New York State Controller's Office. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 19104.01.080 unallocated insurance contractual by $55,477 and decreasing expense line 19004.01.080 special item CE unallocated by $55,477 for account reclassification by the New York State Controller's Office. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 19201.01.041 municipal association dues contractual by $1,099 and decreasing expense line 19004.01.041 special item CE Association of Town dues by $1,099 for account reclassification by the New York State Controller's Office. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board authorizes transfer unnecessary budget lines to process the transactions. I make that motion.
Second.
And just to explain these, the Controller's Office has changed the lines that they want used for these particular funds. So that's why we're doing this resolution. And the new budget, the new lines will be in the budget for next year.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Emoji.
Yes.
Town board comments?
I'm ready if anybody else is not.
You go ahead, Vicki.
Okay. So I want to say congratulations to Chris May on the skateboard program. I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot, but I have great appreciation for the fact that he is going to be providing some outdoor opportunities for these kids to learn a skill and enjoy getting back into the swing of things when it's safe to do so. I'm planning to prepare 2 resolutions based on the town board's support for these 2 activities. And one is that we authorize the town clerk to provide approved minutes approved minutes to circulate to the town board within 2 weeks of being submitted, assuming that works in your workload. Don Marie, if that timing works best. And the unapproved minutes get circulated as well, but with a very clearly stamped draft on it. I talked to the Association of Towns and they thought that was a good policy to keep everybody aware of what's going on in the different committees. And
Are we talking committees or are we talking about the town board?
No, town board is all set. It's the
Okay.
committees, commissions, councils, and
Minutes.
And you're
housing
looking
board.
this from the town clerk to send to you, or for the committees to at least get them to the liaison?
Once they're submitted to the town clerk, it
As
would
they're
then be
supposed to.
15 days or 2 weeks after that, if that works in your workload schedule. I know there are times when you're very busy.
No, I'll take the minutes when they send them to me.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, and this is why I initially started to have this conversation, that we should have it offline, because it is part of the way I look at it, it's part of our guidelines that we're trying to pass through, is that they even send them to me. So
Right.
you know the initial problem that we've had. CAC, Recreation is usually really good about sending them to Victoria. And then what other committees there are, they're not sending them in. So
Right.
we already have a policy in place for them to send them in. They're not following that policy that you guys accept every year at reorg. So if the liaisons can kindly work with their committees and their boards and the commissions or whatever volunteer title you want to give them, I'm all for having them, but they're not sending them here. The problem is they're not coming in. And then now with the last two, the January rec meeting, they sent them in like 3 days after the meeting. Or, you know, Leo sent them in, or Jim Wright will send them in 3 days after the meeting. How do we know if they're approved or not approved if they're not indicating in them that on any of them at all? The
Well, if
problem,
they're coming in 3 days after the meeting, they're not approved.
I mean, that's my assumption. That's only me assuming that they're not, because and then you can see how they, you know, some things come to some board members, some things go to your guys' private emails by the time it finally makes it to me. We're all have town emails. I mean, to circulate it to everyone that needs to have these draft minutes to make, you know, keep up on what the meetings they've missed or to know what's going on. As soon as you hit 2, every single one of our town emails populates. I think the lack of communication really starts with the committees and the commissions to be in giving us the information that we need. I think that's what's being missed. Because if we get approved minutes, then we can put them online.
Okay, so my only point in getting this passed is to make it super clear that if you receive minutes like the January recreation minutes, if we had received them and you knew that they were draft, then and unless it's told that they're approved, I think you just have to submit them as draft, right? If you don't know and they haven't specified, you just write draft. And then we at least know what theoretically happened at that meeting. We have something to go on. By you not passing that on to us, we didn't know that
And how would I know that you as a liaison weren't being given, you and Michelle weren't given your rec minutes? I wouldn't know that because in the email that Scott sent me, it was only had 2 members of the rec commission to begin with. It didn't even have all 5 rec commission members in them.
Whatever they send you, just write draft unless they tell you it's approved and send it to us and let us look at it.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem, Vicki. I know it's not a problem to send them forward.
Okay.
And I think, so if you need me to forward them to you, then I need the 5 of you to go back to those committees and ask them to send them to me.
We'll do our best, but you can't require, and I can't force anybody to take minutes and to provide them. All I'm saying is that when they do, Dawn Marie,
When they do come in?
those go to us, and unless they're clearly approved, then you mark them as
Wait.
draft.
I'm sorry. What do you mean we cannot require people to take minutes?
Well, can you force somebody to do that?
They're supposed to.
They're supposed to.
How do you make them do that?
Well, they can't act on behalf of the town without following the basic
Guidelines.
open meeting rules.
You're right, Damien.
So how are you going to do that?
I don't know the answer to that, Vicki, but
Right. I've been here for a long time. I don't know how to force somebody to take the minutes, to go and do it in 12-point font and get it back to the clerk. I do the best I can. Sometimes I've taken the notes, but I understand that's not really my responsibility or that that's ideal. The ideal is that they are taking their own minutes. But it's not always possible to get somebody to volunteer to be the secretary at these meetings. And it's not always possible
Well,
to
aren't people,
force them.
excuse me, Vicki, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Go ahead.
aren't people appointed to be the secretary at some of these committees? Isn't
Well-
someone, when they do them, don't they say, Mary Lou's going to be the secretary or whatever, and at that particular meeting?
Not always. Not always is there a volunteer who raises their hand. Sometimes we just rotated around the room for CAC. We said, it's your turn. You have to do it because,
But
it's your turn.
But we have to have minutes of these meetings, otherwise we're not going to fully understand what's going on. Because sometimes I get some meetings from the recreation, and I will get partial of what they've discussed, and then all of a sudden I see another thing come on my email that says this event's going to take place, and I was at the same meeting they were all at, and I never heard it. And I'm not opposed to recreation. They can do as many things as they like, but I think that you and I should be getting those minutes and seeing what they are. And then if we have a question on them, because either you or I are at these particular meetings, we should be able to say, gee, I didn't know we were going to do tie-dyeing or whatever it was, and then call the person and say, when was that discussed? What are you going to do that? How is that? And then get it into the minutes and stuff like that. If we give it to Dawn Marie doesn't know if it's a draft or if it's complete or not. And then what's going to happen, she's going to be getting other excerpts to put in. And I think they should do it. I don't understand why they cannot.
I just want to talk about the guidelines that you as a board accepted on January 6th.
Exactly.
The guidelines for the town of Amenia committees, without reading each and every one of the, bullet points. But bullet point number 8, a written monthly report or minutes will be given to each town board member and town clerk. It says it in the current guidelines for the town of Amenia. Not that I don't want you to prepare a resolution. It's an easy, the emails go to my phone. I can do it with the finger of my thumb, and I can forward you their emails. However, I just want to point to the board. It is currently one of your policies right now that a written monthly report or minutes be given to each town board member and the town clerk. Building department has no problem doing it. Water does it. I understand that there's a level of frustration because of the disconnect that you guys have with your committees that you're liaisons with. But to point it out to one particular person or department to now have to forward it, these were the guidelines that you currently have set in place. And I have no problems doing their job for them, but I want it to be noted that you've already accepted this, and they should be also then providing to the town clerk, if we want to go there, when they're meeting, the Zoom links, so we can put it somewhere, because these are all their meetings pertain to open meetings law. So if any board member is not attending a committee or commission meeting because you're not aware of it, the clerk doesn't have that information to pass it to you. The supervisor every week, every bi-weekly, hands you guys an agenda and tells you when the meeting is, what the agenda items are, and how to participate. Mm-hmm. But that should be the same for all of the other committees. If I wanted to show up to a CAC meeting, how do I attend? Or how do I go to rec? Now we have the schedule for recreation because I have those minutes that were given to me, which I circulated to you guys during the meeting. But what about the other committees? How does open meetings law pertain to them? We can't use COVID as an excuse because they're actively meeting. We know they're meeting. You guys are, talking about that they're meeting.
Okay, so this is a good, a very, very helpful discussion, because I do agree that we should be advertising our meetings on a regular basis, and I will take responsibility for the boards that I sit on. I'll just make the announcement at each of the town board meetings, but I don't have the Zoom link. Oh, I guess Recreation is meeting on the second Thursdays of every month at the Amenia Town Hall with social distancing and masks required. We're following all the COVID rules set out by the town of Amenia. And that it's at 7 p.m. So there's no Zoom link, but I do have an announcement for the Amenia Housing Board. Its meeting is on Tuesday, March 9th at 5:30 p.m. by Zoom. I'm going to forward that now to the town clerk, who would then have the ability to forward that to anybody who inquired, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the proper procedure?
No, it should be, sorry. It should be published in advance. And what is it's Ian, can you, sorry, Vicki, let me interrupt here for 1 second. But Ian, I think the open meetings, has been adjusted a bit by COVID, but I think the process is pretty straightforward. We still have an obligation to advertise remote meetings in a a certain time period in a certain manner. Do you want to go ahead and describe that?
In the same fashion that we advertise every meeting that we do for the town board. So Dawn is right. If there's a meeting coming up, just simply announcing it at the town board meeting would not be sufficient. It should be either published on the website or on town clerk board, which doesn't make sense now during COVID, but at least on the website and an announcement at the meeting. It should be published in the same fashion that we publish all our other meetings.
Well, we can post it on Channel 22.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, we have the local access channel.
But it needs to have the Zoom information, right? The link to it. So I think on the town website would be probably the easiest for everybody to access, or
Sure.
And just to be
It just
clear,
needs to be somewhere.
we're using Zoom right now, but we're using a Zoom account that Victoria registered for. This isn't a town account, right? Like, our committee members do not have access to this Zoom instance. So the town does have a video conferencing solution available to all, committee members, anybody with a town email address. It's free. It's part of your account. Any one of our committee members can use it. It can be recorded. It can be transcribed. Those are all possibilities. But if a committee is meeting using a private Zoom account that has a password or is otherwise closed to the public, I don't think that would qualify per open meeting law. Right, Ian?
Public has to have the ability to view and hear the meeting. So if it's a private account and it has been published and you can't just send it to people who are interested in it. It needs to be published, and it needs to be a site that people can actually attend and view and hear. That's the terminology.
that's a very good point. So I think we have to do it just like we do our town board meetings. We have to record the meetings and then publish it on the town website. Is that right?
Yeah, and we have the capability of doing that for free, no extra costs. No committee member needs to burden themselves with private costs, but we could do that.
So I'm going to forward this to everybody here except for Ian, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Damien, is that at our next housing board meeting you could make sure it's recorded, because I don't know that we all have those technical skills to record and post it on our town website?
Yeah, I'm happy to hold a training session for all the committee members, any chair, anybody who's interested. The housing board you referenced meets using a private member's Zoom account, so I have no ability to record that, or I don't have the ability to help there, but I can.
So how do we rectify that?
Technically, I mean, you want to?
Well, I think that it's something, we're now a year into COVID and we still haven't figured out how to meet the open meetings laws for our committee. So, it seems to me that either we just, try and figure out the most expeditious way. If we're using a private Zoom meeting, then if Leo can figure out how to record it and put it up on site, I mean, nobody can get on to this meeting right now. So it certainly follows that.
But they're doing it.
If we can simply record it and post it the next day, I don't see why that wouldn't work.
I think people have to attend. Ian?
Yeah, you can't record it and post it. So they would have to have the ability to actually hear and view the meeting at the time it's happening. So really, again, just like we do with the town board meeting, if you have the link, there's a public access to the link. The person who's controlling that Zoom meeting would have the ability to allow people to enter. They can mute. They control the meeting. But as long as the people have the opportunity to view and hear what is happening in that meeting, then I feel you're in compliance.
Well, they would have to advertise the Zoom information for them to attend the meeting, right?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yes. Whether they do it on Channel 22 or put it onto the town's website, they would have to be published.
So
I mean,
I do think that you need, Damien, if you have the skills to show people how to use their town free team meetings technology to do this in the proper way, I think that it would be really helpful, because I think even with COVID slowly but surely, hopefully getting under control, I think we're going to be still utilizing this technology after this pandemic is over.
Yeah, happy to do it. I've offered to, go ahead, Victoria.
I'm sorry, just that people need to be allowed to attend the committee meetings if they want to.
Right. But team would allow us or not?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Damien knows how to teach us how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, BAS does as well, but yeah.
Well, I think that's long overdue and would be make me feel better about getting some of this process done appropriately in the future, and knowing that we're following open meetings law. I did want to say the other resolution I was thinking of putting together for you guys to consider is going ahead and authorizing the preparation of an RFP by the two fellows who, Jeffrey Baxter, I believe it was, who presented to us at our like a meeting and a half ago or 2 meetings ago about community solar power. I forwarded you some information that he sent to me when I asked him if he didn't have a boilerplate resolution for a town. And in fact, what it is, it's an agreement between us and their organization that would say at no fee, they would prepare the RFPs to find an appropriate solar project that would.
No, we're not doing that without without looking at the agreement first. And besides, when I spoke to them, they didn't want to give references, which I wasn't comfortable with.
So they are not able to disclose, just like we would not. They just won't disclose other ones without prior notification. So they can provide a reference, but they can't do it without first asking the municipalities that they've worked
But
with.
we're not doing an RFP before we see an agreement and have Ian look at it.
I think I forwarded it to you. No? I'll forward it again. I think, the whole agreement was the last one that I sent to you that also, anyway, I'll forward that again. And assuming that there's no cost to the town, so I'd be surprised if he found a reason, that it would be. But I'll go ahead and forward that now. That's all I have, other than I'm thrilled to say that the postcards are done. I'm not sure if you can see this because I'm not looking at okay, here. The Affordable Housing Survey poster and postcards are almost ready to go live. We're just hoping to get this survey up on our town website. Thanks to Damien, who's going to do that work for us. It's going to be in Spanish and in English, ideally. And all we're looking to have the survey picked up either at the town hall, or you can complete it online. And the paper copies will be outside of town hall. Leo has donated a little dispenser out in front of Town Hall, so you don't even have to go in. And you can complete it right then and there. It should take 5 minutes. It's 14 questions. And we'd like to hear from as many people in Amenia as possible about what they think affordable housing should do for Amenia residents. And thanks to Jeff Barnett Wimsby, who did organize the design of the posters and postcards. So you can, again, do it online on our town website, www.ameniany.gov, when that comes live in the next couple of days, or you can pick up the survey at Town Hall. Thank you.
Hey, just on that note, I think I want to second what Vicki was just saying. This is an important survey. Victoria, would it be possible for you to allow me to share my screen?
Sure. There you go.
All right. I'll give you guys a really quick preview of what the survey looks like. I hope everybody can see my screen. Confirmation, yeah? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. So it's an online survey that Vicki referenced. We'll have a link on the website, and postcards will be going out to all residents. And it's a simple web form. So, we're in edit mode, but disregard that. The questions that will be available are pretty straightforward. The whole thing will take maybe 10 or 15 minutes to fill out. It'll be very simple. And we're really hoping to get as much feedback as possible on this form. It's anonymous. It's important to note that nobody, we're not collecting information that is specific back to you or your household or anything like that. This is just for us to get a sense of what the need is for affordable housing. We on the town board have heard endlessly from employers here in town that their employees are struggling to find affordable places to live in town. Obviously, we hear from people all the time that, finding affordable rentals is very challenging. These are important things for the town board to hear, and it's important to hear it in a sort of survey form. So please do your best to check this out and fill this out when you get that postcard or once the link is live on the website.
I think the deadline is something like April 2nd, isn't it? I mean, it's right around the corner. And so please know that there's a very, short window for getting this done. And it's going to be utilized in helping us create a priority and goals for the Amenia Housing Board. That's all I have.
Any other town board comments?
I just have the question on the flyers. Is there if people pick them up, is there an address on it for them to mail them back to the town hall? Is that on the flyer? So in case they pick them up and say, or I'm going to fill it out at my house or however, and they don't have computer technology and they want to get a piece of paper in their hand and they want to send it back or something. Is there an address on that flyer, that information?
You can go to the town clerk's office and pick up a paper copy of the survey and fill it out there.
And fill it out.
I'll check and make sure, but we did print off 50 already, but we can certainly make sure that that's really clear.
Right.
You don't even have to put a stamp on. You could just drop it off on the box outside of town hall for the non-postal box.
The non-postal box. Okay. No, I just wanted to be clear about that because I may get a question on it and I just want to have an answer. They printed off for free 100 extra postcards, so I was thinking that we could put them
perhaps in the clubhouse at Tally Ho and in the
Well,
lobbies of different places where,
well, okay, yeah, you can give them to me, and I can get them out to the people. Our clubhouse isn't open because of the COVID thing, and until they open up the seniors till the state of New York opens up senior centers to be open, we can't open our clubhouse because we're under that heading of a seniors clubhouse or meeting place.
so if
But
I put like 20 in your mailbox at town hall, you could take them and
yeah, I could give them out to
give them
people
out.
and
And
see who would want them, or who would want,
they should be getting some in the mail, but since, I'm just, hopefully.
Oh, they're going, okay.
Yeah, let them wait and see if they get one in the
Yes,
mail
let them
first.
wait and see before I do that. And then they'll probably ask me, and then if I have to pick up a stack of the papers for them to fill out, they'll fill them out and give
The
them back to me.
more response we can get, the better.
Right.
We really, really need a good survey response. So I appreciate your help.
Okay, is there any other town board comment? If not, I make a motion to go into executive session for employment history of individual and potential litigation issues. The town clerk is excused, and we'll be going into executive session with the town attorney.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilperson Stoyl?
Yeah.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Smoji?
Yes,
All right, thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
you too.